Obviously, it was a weekend of mass retirements in racing. You had Katie Walsh and Nina Carberry. We had in rugby, John Muldoon and a bunch of other players going as well. Was your decision to retire really straightforward in the end? It was like, I'm done, I've had enough? Or could you have eked out another season or two?
I could have easily probably done. You never quite know, I don't think, but I felt comfortably another year, probably two, without any significant injury.
Where was the last club you played for?
So I was at, I'll give you a brief one. I signed a 3-year deal at Bolton. 6 months into that deal, new manager came in, didn't see eye to eye. So the next season, because I was on a good contract at Bolton, I wasn't going to get that anywhere else. Came to some kind of resolution where I went on loan the following season to Brighton. Really liked my time there. Following season.
Who was at Brighton?
Who was the manager?
Yeah.
He's the Oscar Garcia. He's Barcelona B. Then he went to Red Bull Salzburg. I'm not quite sure where he is at the moment.
Right, okay.
Liked him, really liked him. He left, unfortunately, because I was going to go back there. He left. Sammy Hippier came in and basically didn't want to sign me. So that was that. I wanted his own players, so that was fine. Then the next year, went back to Bolton for pre-season. So I was a bit of a like, yeah, come back here, what's the crack? Yeah, you're right. And then Watford came in. So Watford were a good squad, kind of challenge. So I was like, yeah, no brainer. Let's go to Watford on loan. So then they had 4 managers in 32 days. The last one was, he's the Fulham manager now, Slavisa Jokanovic, and had a row with him. Bearing in mind I'd been assured you can, the following season, player coach role, under 21s. We wanted to be the under 21s manager at Watford.
Right.
Got on quite well with the hierarchy there.
So
I was already thinking about coaching.
Who at the hierarchy are you dealing with? Who's not the manager?
The owner.
All right.
The owner and the sporting director, so the Pozzo family, the sporting director.
So they're personally involved in the signing of you on loan, right?
Yeah, so the manager at Watford, even now, they don't have a say in who signs.
Okay.
So I signed under Beppe Sannino. He got the sack after about a month, 6 weeks. Then Oscar Garcia came in, who was my manager at Brighton.
You're like, happy days.
Exactly, happy days. Give me that armband, it was grand. And then Billy McKinley came in as his assistant. Oscar Garcia had a bit of a heart complaint, had to knock it on the head for medical reasons.
Balls.
Billy McKinley took over. He was in charge for 8 days. See you later, good luck. And here we go. So then
Jokanovic comes in at that point.
Yeah, Jokanovic comes in at that point, and then I'm playing regularly. Had an argument when I was on garden leave then for 2 months.
What about football?
Well, it was because I'd moved from Manchester down to Watford, season-long loan. I'm 33, I think I was at the time. I'd gone through all this managerial chain as a senior player in the dressing room. I'm kind of saying, look, let's just keep going. Look at the squad we've got. We've got a proper squad here. Let's not worry about that. Let's just keep things flowing and going. And so playing a senior role in the dressing room with the hierarchy and all the rest of it. I'm playing under Jokanovic. And then his way was on a Friday afternoon, on a Friday when we were training, he would get somebody to put a squad up on the wall that was travelling. So we've all come back in from training. I looked at the squad because I'd played every game and I was involved. I'm not even travelling to this game. So I was like, grabbed that off the wall, went in to see him. He's outside having a smoke, had a bit of a ding dong, and then.
What did he say? Why you weren't travelling?
He just said, I can't even remember exactly what he said about not travelling. My issue wasn't the fact that I wasn't travelling.
He didn't come and talk to you.
Yeah, my issue was, look, I'm a senior player here. I'm playing all the time. Blah blah. Just show me a little bit of respect. You know, regardless of your decision, I might not like it, but at least I'll respect it. Just come and say it to me. But that obviously wasn't his way. Whether it is now, I don't know. He might have changed after the row we had. So we had our ding dong, and then
proper row, like screaming and.
Oh yeah.
And proper. People watching.
Yeah, like the owners and the people came out and all the rest.
Oh right. So okay, so there's no going back from that.
Full on, and then.
And what are you feeling after that? Are you feeling shit? I shouldn't have gone so far. You're like, yeah, I did the right thing.
No, I wasn't feeling that at all because I felt justified in terms of. I dealt with a lot of crap at that club in terms of trying to just ease things over because the bigger picture was I wanted another promotion on my CV, so I wanted to keep us up in contention, and because I did feel we had a few options where to go that summer, And that was like, that excited me because they had proper players. Like even the strike force was Vidra, Troy Deeney, Igalo. Remember Igalo that season a few years ago?
Yeah.
And Forestieri. So it was like goals on that team. We keep everything else sorted. They'll just shoot us into the Premier League. So no, I was fully justified, and then just got in my car, drove back home. I think I actually drove straight to Holyhead and came home for the weekend.
Right.
Long weekend.
And did the owners come and say, hey, the manager, we gotta,
There was a bit of radio silence at the time, and then we think it's best if you stay away for the time being.
Right.
I was thinking, fine, I'll stay away. I think that was late November. And then I was thinking, okay, this is going on now. Went in and met them. They obviously backing the manager because he's just in charge. And then they were trying to, so it was a horrible triangle then really, because there was me, there was Bolton, and then there was Watford. So I'm still contracted to Bolton, but Watford are paying the percentage of the wages.
Okay.
So Bolton aren't going to relinquish anything of that.
Yeah.
And then in January, there was other teams coming in for me to try and break this loan deal and then take some of it on. But they weren't willing to pay what Watford were willing to pay. So then Bolton were saying, tough.
Yeah.
And in the meantime,
you're stuck.
I'm stuck. But then I was already concentrating on coaching. I'd done a bit of coaching at Watford. I'd been coaching in Brighton's academy and all the rest. And then MK Dons, I went in there and started doing a bit of training just to keep fit. And then they had offered me a role as a player coach with a coaching role at the end of it, and I wanted to do that. So they were obviously only willing to, or could only pay
a certain amount,
a fraction of what this deal was. So basically this was going on throughout January. I was in training undercover, like it was just mad. And then eventually on deadline day,
on your Irish name passport.
Andrew. Yeah, so we got there in the end on deadline day on the last day of January, but it was...
Was that a full transfer from Bolton, or was that like a loan?
I was still a loan till the end of the season, and then that was it.
Right.
But like, so basically during that time,
you made the decision to stop playing.
So that was January. By March, I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
Because we had Noel Hunt on here a couple of weeks ago, and he was a player coach at Wigan. So I was talking to him and saying, how are you finding that balance? Because I couldn't do it.
You just knackered the whole time.
Just, you feel like I felt like I couldn't commit to either fully. Like when you go coaching, I think it's just, you've got to, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's 24/7. So I was ready for that. And by March, I didn't officially retire. Well, I didn't never officially retire, but I didn't until the following season. But by March, I played my last game, and then I wasn't on the bench again, and made the decision just to focus on, because we had a good team, we were going for promotion, the midfield was very good, it was Dele Alli, Darren Potter.
Not bad.
Exactly, and then ahead of that there was really good attacking players, so the midfield was sorted. Trying to sandwich me into that midfield, the balance of the team wasn't right anyway, so it was a bit unselfish in a way, because I could have played more games, but I was focused on the retirement and then on coaching, and then obviously the rest is history.
Yeah, and the decision not to keep coaching, was that easy enough to make?
That was a year at MK Dons, so that following season had a full year. We'd got promotion, so we were in the championship. So I had really, like, in terms of the responsibility, I had considered it was my first full year coach, and it was like brilliant. I was in charge of all the attacking patterns and set pieces, different bits and bobs, full of every day with the first team. So I loved it. I loved the time on the grass. I loved the time with the players, improving the younger players, trying to improve them. Obviously, you can only improve players if they want to improve. But then at the end of that year, there was different things that were just grating on me that I didn't agree with in terms of how the club was run, certain factors in the club. And I just felt it was right that I looked elsewhere. So that's when I went and started to do a lot with the FAI and coaching the underage teams, and then I had a bit of a gap year. I said it to you before, I felt like a student. So I had a gap year where I started to do more media, because you're still seeing games and looking at games, and then keeping your eye in, and then went with the FAI, and then it kind of just went from that in terms of the media, and the balance of my life, where I've never had that, was just nicer. Family time. Moved back to Ireland, spent more time in Ireland first and foremost, then moved back. So it was just, it's not pulling on me as much as it was when I first had that little break.